Hey everyone, so a Kutztown University professor in Pennsylvania has offered extra credit to students if they protest the GOP tax bill, which protesting the tax bill, in my opinion, isn't a terrible idea as the tax bill doesn't address the fundamental issues of the complexity within the tax code, but I digress. So this is nothing but a subtle way to either influence the political viewpoints of the students or to overtly and obviously reward students who have certain political viewpoints. Either way, this is completely unacceptable, especially considering Kutztown University is a public school. So a government-funded organization is giving a leg up to those who have specific political preferences. Now, the professor was forced to take away this opportunity for extra credit, but frankly, this professor should be fired. If she couldn't think through the implications of this, I dare say she is incompetent. So since the extra credit has been taken away, an anonymous source has claimed that this professor offered a new way to get extra credit, which is to write an essay on if the wage gap between men and women in the US will ever close. Okay, so apparently this professor also has trouble learning from their mistakes. This is yet another assignment that is not just politically charged, which would be okay in and of itself if it was unbiased, but the question being asked in this essay has a huge assumption in it. It assumes that all the rhetoric surrounding the gender wage gap is true in the first place. If the assignment was to prove or disprove the gender wage gap, I think that would be fine. That has no assumptions in it, and it allows the students at least the opportunity to get outside the narrative that there is a significant gender wage gap in the first place. And as a side note, I wonder if this professor would be okay with a student writing about women needing to negotiate for salaries, as there is evidence that on average women do not negotiate as much as men. Now, whether that's true or not, I wouldn't be shocked if this professor gave out failing grades to students who dared to bring that up. I get the feeling that the only papers that will be deemed successful by this professor are those papers that fall into line and accept the prevailing leftist narratives. Again, I have to repeat this professor should be fired. Not only can an argument be made that this professor is attempting to indoctrinate her students, even more so, she is alienating the other students that might actually think for themselves. Being ill at ease in college is perfectly fine if other students are saying things you disagree with, or they're saying things that make you uncomfortable. But having an actual professor that so clearly advocates only one side of these issues is a huge problem. It would be as if Ron Paul and Obama were on the debate stage and Joe Biden got to moderate and decide who wins. Despite who you might agree with, if you have a rational mind, you should be able to find your way to the conclusion that Joe Biden should not be moderating that debate. And in much the same way, regardless of your political leanings, it shouldn't take much brainpower to recognize that this professor shouldn't be anywhere near a classroom. Thanks, and that's all.